So my name is Wendy, for those of you who I haven't met before. I am teaching an all-level mat class through Studio Blue. My goal for this class is to have fluid movement, take lots of deep breaths, and be playful. If you have any injuries, make sure you're finding modifications that feel right for your own body. And also, if you notice you're moving into pain, be curious about it, but please don't push into it. So we are going to start low to the floor today. We're going to start in a child's pose. And so you'll have your big toes together, the knees slightly apart. And then go ahead and just lengthen the arms on out and let the rib cage just rest onto the thighs. And so from this position, spreading the fingertips wide and gently pushing down and forward through the floor. As you take your inhale in through the nose, you want to feel for the expansion of the rib cage. And as you exhale out through the mouth, just gently draw your low belly up and away from the hip creases and the thighs. And again, inhale, think of breathing around the thighs instead of directly into the thighs. And again, exhale, drawing the low belly up and in, and notice how the pelvic floor draws up and in as well. And again, another inhale, breathing out through the sides of the ribs, almost as if there's gills there. And then exhale. This time we're going to inhale, come forward onto all fours. And so from here, feeling the tail lengthen back and the crown of the head lengthen forward. So you're looking forward out past the fingertips. First, we're just going to go ahead and let the spine sink a little bit between the shoulders so the shoulder blades draw towards one another. And by pressing down through the floor, you can feel your shoulder blades slide out towards the sides of the ribs as you surface up. And inhale to sink down. And exhale to surface up. A couple more like that. Inhale and sink. And exhale and press. And inhale to sink. And exhale and press. And finding a happy center there. Now you're going to go ahead and inhale, slide the shoulders up to the ears. And exhale, slide them down. And inhale, gliding them up. And exhale, gliding them down. One more time, taking them up and then gliding them down, and again, finding that happy medium place. So then from here, we're gonna go ahead and take an inhale. And as you exhale, you're gonna draw the breastbone and pubic bone towards one another as you round the spine up into your Halloween cat. And then using equal effort of drawing the pubic bone and breastbone away from one another, we extend through the spine. And exhale, rounding up. And inhale, lengthening back out. Exhale, rounding up. Now keep the spine rounding as if you're pulling your tail forward between your hands. Begin to sit back in the direction of your heels, but pause at the moment that you feel the weight coming out of your fingertips. From here, we're going to go ahead and look forward, slide the shoulder blades down, bring the chest forward, and then draw yourself back forward. And so you're going to exhale round. We begin to sit back, curling the tail under, feeling that stretch through the lats. And then looking forward, shoulder blades glide down to help bring the chest forward and coming forward. A couple more like that. Just getting a nice wave motion through the spine. And inhale, gliding forward. And exhale and round. Take it back. And then inhale and coming forward. From here, finding your neutral position, we're just going to go ahead and wag the tail over to the right so that left side of the waist just opens up. And then you're going to reach that right ear towards the tail. And then inhaling through center, the tail's going to go over to the left, and then taking the left ear over towards the tail. And through center, and then finding a little more fluidity so the ear and the tail both draw towards one another. Inhale through center. And tail and ear drawn over to the left. Inhale through center. Have a happy dog, full body wag. And just starting to get a little bit of space between the ribs and the pelvis as you side bend from side to side. And we'll take it over to the left just one more time. From here, as you press down through your left hand, we're going to weave our right arm under, allowing that left elbow to bend as we rotate. And then pressing back down through that left hand to lengthen back out. And now we're gonna go ahead and slide that right arm forward as our sit bones reach up and back. And then coming back to all fours, we're gonna draw that right arm out to the side and then up to the ceiling, rotating through the spine. And then bringing it back. We'll weave it under one more time on this side. And back. And then reaching that arm forward, stretching that right armpit towards the floor. And then taking that arm first to the side and then up towards the ceiling. And then back down. Taking it to the other side, first we'll weave that left arm under, allowing the right elbow to bend. And pressing back up. And then opening the left armpit out towards the floor or down towards the floor. And back. And then out to the side and up to the ceiling as we rotate. And back. And we weave it back under. Good. And then reaching back forward. And then rotating back. Good. All right. So from here, we're going to go ahead and take a seat. And so first go ahead and let's take the soles of the feet together with the hands on the shins and then pull up and out with the elbows to lengthen through the spine. And then from here, let's take a nice little stretch out over the feet, allowing the inner thighs and the hips to stretch. And as you breathe, again, feel the breath open up the back. On your next exhale, let's go ahead and lift on up through the spine. And then draw the legs back to parallel with the hands behind the thighs. You're gonna take an inhale here and exhale, start to curl the tail under, rounding back into your letter C. Now making sure that the head is nice and neutral, that it's not projecting forward. And now from here, we're gonna go ahead and take the hands away, feeling those low abdominals deepen. And imagine you're trying to curl your tail under just a little bit more to tighten that letter C. Now from here, we're gonna go ahead and just do some little rocks. So you're gonna rock back a couple inches on the inhale and exhale, the low belly pulls in to bring you back up. Inhale to take it back and exhale and lift. And inhale to rock it back and exhale and lift. Two more like that and lift. One more and come up. Take the soles of the feet together, let the knees rotate open. You're gonna rotate the palms up and take the arms out to the sides as the chest lifts. And then from here, we're gonna exhale, scoop, rounding back into that letter C. This time from here, we're gonna rotate the rib cage, kind of like you're unscrewing a jar. So the rib cage rotates to the right while the pelvis stays still. Inhaling through center. And exhale, rotating over to the left. And inhale, center. And exhale, rotate to the right. And inhale, center. And exhale, rotate left. And come center. Deepen through the low belly. Go ahead and roll on up. Soles of the feet come together. We're gonna rotate those palms back up and lift up through the chest. And then again, exhale. We'll round on back. From here, you're gonna go ahead and take an inhale, and as you exhale, the low abdominals pull in as we just take our right arm up, and then inhale to lower. And exhale, left arm up, and inhale to lower. We'll take that right arm back up, inhale and down, and feel that shoulder blade glide down to take the arm up, and down. This time we're gonna take both arms up, reaching through those fingertips. Make sure the shoulder blades are still low on the back. Now start to curl your tail under and feel as if your spine is reaching down towards the floor as the fingertips reach up positionally. See if you can go down with control, bone by bone, all the way down. From here, you're gonna go ahead and scoot your feet nice and close and towards your hips and feel the four corners of each foot pressing into the floor. Palms, backs of arms and backs of shoulders gently press into the mat. You're gonna take an inhale and exhale, tip the pelvis towards the shoulders and start to sequence the pelvis up off the mat, bone by bone, coming up into your bridge. So at the top of your bridge, you should feel as if there's a straight line from your sternum to your knees. You want to feel as if you have 2/3 of your weight into your feet and only 1/3 in the shoulders and head there. Let's inhale and exhale, soften through the breastbone, feeling each rib ring roll back underneath you, and then the low back, and then the tail is the last thing to uncurl. Inhale in neutral, exhale, draw the abdominals in, rolling back up. Feeling as if the knees are drawing forward and the heels are pulling back. Feeling the front of the hips stretching open and the sacrum pushing up and through. Inhale, make sure those arms are still pressing back. Soften through the breastbone, rolling down bone by bone. Again, inhale, neutral there. Exhale, draw the abdominals in, peeling back up. Inhaling here at the top, and exhale, soften through the breastbone, rolling back down and through. We'll add a little bit to this. We'll start the same. Exhale, draw the abdominals in, rolling on up. As you keep your sacrum pressing up and through, turn your palms to face one another, and then let's take the arms overhead back into a Y shape. Now feel that reach to the pinkies there as you soften through the breastbone, feeling as if the side seams of the body are getting longer as you traction your tail away from the fingertips. When the tail arrives, let's inhale the arms back down next to the sides. Exhale, go ahead and roll it back up. Inhaling the arms overhead, palms facing one another. Keep that reach to the pinky, soften through the breastbone, reaching the tail further away through from the fingers as you roll down. Let's do one more like that. Inhale the arms down. Exhale, roll it on up. Inhaling the arms overhead. And exhale, soften through the breastbone, rolling it down and through. Let's inhale the arms back down next to the sides. This time you'll exhale, you'll roll back up into your bridge. Now again, making sure there's weight in the feet. Now you're gonna try and keep your pelvis nice and still in space where it's at. But you're gonna go ahead and allow your right knee to tip out so that thigh bone rotates in the socket. And then you're gonna push down to the outside of that right foot to help bring that back to center. And then the left side, inhale, that knee rocks out to the side. And then exhale, you push down to the outer edge of the foot to help bring it back. Inhale, right knee tips out. And exhale to bring it back. Inhale, left knee tips out. And exhale to bring it back. Let's do one more on each side. So making sure you're pressing back into the floor through the arms. Last one here. And take an inhale and exhale, soften through the breastbone, rolling down and through. And we are not done with the bridge series yet. Take an inhale. Exhale, let's roll it back up. By now you should be feeling the backs of the hips and the backs of those legs working. So now from here, we're gonna draw the arms straight up to the ceiling and press the palms together. Now reach up through those fingers enough that your shoulder blades actually lift away from the floor and feel as if you're trying to draw the vertebra right between your shoulder blades back into the ground. And so it's almost like you round a little bit deeper here. So now from here, you're gonna go ahead and keep the rib cage where it's at as we tip the pelvis a little bit to the right and inhale center. And tip the pelvis a little to the left and bring it center. Let's inhale as we tip and mess the breath up a little. Exhale. Inhale, tip left. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, tipping right. Exhale. And one more time here. And center. Let's bring the arms down to the floor. Exhale, soften through the breastbone. Roll the spine. All the way down and through. All right, take an inhale. Exhale, we are gonna roll back up to a bridge. So from here, feeling those knees reach forward, feeling that sacrum push up and through, you're gonna go ahead and start to take the weight down through your left foot, trying to keep your pelvis stable in space as we take our right leg up and inhale to set it down. Try not to let the pelvis move or glide as we take that left leg up. And inhale to set it down. And exhale and lift. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, down. Let's do one more on each side. Last one. And then go ahead and soften through the breastbone. Roll, roll, roll. Down and through. And go ahead one at a time, draw the knees on in towards the chest with a hand on each knee. Just gently rock from side to side for a moment. From here, settling back to center, bringing the legs to a tabletop position, draw the arms on up to the ceiling and feel those shoulder blades settle back into the floor with a wide collarbone. So from here, we're gonna go ahead and see if we can keep the width of the collarbone and the shoulders against the mat as we let both of our legs tip a little bit to the left, and so our right hip lifts. And then you wanna use the waistline to pull the back of that right hip back into the floor to come center. Inhale over to the right with the thighs, keeping the legs together as one unit. And then exhale, using the waistline to return. Inhale to take it over. And exhale it back. And inhale to take it over. And exhale back. So continuing to use the waistline, reach your arms out to a T, palms up to the ceiling. Now your rotation will be able to go a little bit deeper now as you take it over to the left, and then exhale a little quicker to come through center. Inhaling over to the right, exhale to bring it back. Inhale to take it over, and exhale, center. Couple more like that. Again, seeing if you can keep both of your shoulder blades against the floor and resist using those shoulder muscles to do the work for you. Good. So from here, you can go ahead and step one foot at a time back onto the floor, heels in line with the sit bones. And then let's go ahead and slide our hands back behind our skull. So from here, let's go ahead and first just draw the elbows around to the ceiling and then take them just slightly out away from that. So it's almost as if they point to the corners of the room. Now a little nod of the chin to the Adam's apple. Feel for the weight of the back of the rib cage dropping into the floor. Take your inhale, and then exhale. You're gonna think of your sternum tipping down as we peel the head and shoulder blades up off the mat. On your inhale, lower it back down with control. As soon as the head touches, you'll exhale, peel it back up. Inhale to take it down, and exhale, rounding back up. So as you're doing this, seeing if you can keep your sacrum level. Oftentimes we want to use our hips and we really pull our pubic bone towards the ribs. But seeing if you can just keep the hips relaxed and out of it. One more time like that, exhale, rounding up. And inhale to bring it down. So you're gonna go ahead and keep your right hand behind your head as you lengthen your left arm down next to your side. Take your inhale and exhale. First you roll up through the center, and then you're gonna go ahead and rotate right through your central axis towards the left. Inhaling through center and lower. Exhale to peel it up. As you rotate towards the left, think of squeezing in with that left inner thigh a little bit to help you deepen that rotation. And down. Exhale to round it up, rotate, and center, and lower. And again, exhale to round up, rotate, center, and down. Last one on this side, exhale it up, rotating left, coming back to center, and down. So let's go ahead and switch hands behind the head. So you have your left hand back there. Right arm is gonna slide long along the floor. Take your inhale here and exhale, rolling up through the center. And exhale as you rotate. And lower. Exhale. And inhale. Almost like you're wringing out a wet washcloth as you twist. And again, remembering to cue into that right inner thigh as you rotate right. That'll help you find your obliques there. And again, rounding up and rotate and center. Last one here, looking over that right shoulder for the floor, back to center, and down. From here, you're gonna go ahead and draw those arms back up to the ceiling. One at a time, the legs come up to your tabletop position. And so feeling the sacrum push into the floor just a little bit so those low abdominals pull up away from your hip creases. You're gonna keep your low back ribs nice and heavy and the head heavy. On your exhale, we're gonna start to tap the right toes down and inhale to bring it up. Exhale, left toes down and inhale to bring it up. And so if you're noticing that your low back wants to go into an increased arch, don't worry about touching the floor. Just only move as much as you can keep the work in the proper places through the abdominal wall. And exhale and lower and inhale, lift. Let's do one more on each side, keeping the shoulders relaxed, keeping the skull heavy. And now from here, turning the palms towards the thighs, take your inhale. Exhale as you press down through the palms. You're gonna round the head and shoulder blades up. We're gonna take hold of the backs of the thighs and then use the strength of your biceps through the inner ring of the arms here to come up a little higher. And now from here, you're gonna see if you can maintain the height but and pull the low belly back and in as you reach out long through the fingertips. And then resist with your abdominals as we start to take the arms up and then lay the head and shoulders back down. We'll repeat that a couple more times. Exhale, we press down to round up. Take the backs of the thighs with the hands. Deepen your curl by using the assistance of the arms. Good. From here, see if you can maintain that height as you reach out back long through the arms. Resist from the abdominal wall as the arms float up, and then taking the head and shoulders back down. One more time. Exhale, rounding up. Hands behind the thighs. Deepen that curl. Keep the deep curl as you reach out long through your fingertips, and then lowering back down. This time we'll go ahead and exhale, round up to that same position. We deepen the curl. Now you're gonna start just a little rocking motion by pressing the backs of your legs the hands and legs into one another to start just a little rock. I'm getting my body parts mixed up today. Let that tail curl up and away from the floor. As if your sit bones reach towards the ceiling as you roll back towards the shoulders. And then this time we'll rock all the way up to a seated position. Anything back behind you to roll down against, you're gonna go ahead and take the arms out in front of you. Feel those shoulder blades nice and light on those back ribs. And let's go ahead and exhale, just start to curl the tail under first, so those low abdominals pull up and in. And you're gonna go ahead and start to roll down. Now keep reaching out through your inner thighs, out through the soles of the feet. Trying to feel each vertebra imprint. And as the arms go overhead, keep the low back ribs in place on the floor. Inhale the arms to the ceiling, exhale, nod the chin, rolling up. If you get stuck, use a little momentum or grab a thigh there. And then we stack up tall. Exhale, curl those sit bones under. And again, feel those inner thighs reaching away from you, out through the soles of the feet. Low back ribs stay heavy as those arms go overhead. Inhale the arms back to the ceiling. Exhale, peeling back up. Let's do one more. We're gonna take it a little slower on the way down though. So you're gonna exhale, curl your sit bones under. When you get to the sacrum, you're gonna see if you can pause. Take an inhale. Exhale, see if you can take the low back down against the floor and then pause. Inhale. Exhale, see if you can take the low back ribs down against the floor and then pause. Inhale and exhale the rest of the way down. We're gonna see if we can go up the same way. So we're gonna inhale the arms up to the ceiling, exhale, peel the head and shoulder blades up. See if you can get to that point where your low back ribs are pushing into the floor. Now feel those low abdominals pull in to press the low back down to come up a little further. Inhale here, exhale, come to your sacrum. Inhale, and then exhale, rolling on up, nice and tall. Good. So from here, you're gonna go ahead and take an inhale, and exhale, just curl the sit bones under. And this time, just taking it slow, but just feeling for your spine to lead the way into the floor. So maybe like you're using less effort and letting your body just do what it knows how to do. So once you're down on your back, we're gonna go ahead and keep the left leg pressing down into the floor, and we'll hug our right knee in towards our chest for a moment. And take a nice inhale there, and then exhale, taking the hands back behind that right thigh. Let's lengthen that leg on up towards the ceiling. And so first, just doing a little pointing and flexing through that right foot, doing a nice stretch to the calves, the hamstrings, maybe even the soles of the feet. As you're pointing and flexing, think of rolling through the foot and having the toes being the last thing to point, and then toes pull back first, and then flex. And again, rolling through point, and then flex. Let's go ahead and circle the ankle or the foot. So the leg will stay still in space as you circle the foot around. And again, allow your toes to be a part of this, letting them spread and then curl in. And then reverse that. And then pointing through the foot, and then let your right leg turn out at the hip. You're gonna lengthen your arms down next to your sides, feel the backs of the arms, back of shoulder blades, and that left leg continuing to press into the floor. We're gonna take that right leg across the midline while keeping that hip back in contact with the mat. And then you're gonna circle it around and up. Inhale across, exhale around and up. If you're noticing any discomfort in the hip or popping that doesn't seem comfortable to you, feel free to bend that right knee to modify the movement. Usually that helps. Let's reverse it here. So you'll inhale the leg out away from the midline, and then you just let it circle around and up. Let it go out, and then there's kind of a release and a catch at the top. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and release and up. Last one. Take an inhale here and exhale. Let's take that right leg to the floor. Feel the back of that right leg press into the mat as you drag that left heel in. Draw the knee in towards the chest for a moment. And then taking your hands back behind that thigh and lengthening the leg on up towards the ceiling. Make sure that your hips are level. Let's do some pointing and flexing through the foot. Again, allowing your toes to be part of this. So we peel the toes back first and then flex. Fanning through the foot and point, peel it back and flex. One more there. And now circling, again, the legs stay still in space while the foot circles around. Let your toes spread and then curl in. Go ahead and reverse that circle. And then pointing the foot and then turning out at the hip on that left side. Arms go out at a diagonal. You're going to continue to press the backs of the arms back into the floor. Feel that back of the right thigh push into the floor. We inhale the leg across the midline. Exhale around and up. Inhale across. Exhale around and up. Inhale and exhale. One more time in this direction. And reverse, inhaling out, exhale around and up. Inhale out, exhale around and up. Inhale, exhale around and up. Take an inhale. Exhale, take that right leg down to the floor. Let's draw the arms on up to the ceiling. Exhale, nod the chin. Roll yourself on up. So from here, we're gonna go ahead and do a little spine stretch forward. So you're gonna take the legs so they're a little bit wider than your hips and shoulders. Now, if you have tight hips, grippy hips, feel free to sit on a pillow, and that should make it a little bit more comfortable. So we're gonna leave our pelvis in this neutral position. You're gonna flex those toes back and take the arms so they're level to the floor. We're gonna go ahead on your exhale, nod the chin, and start to round the rib cage and waistline up and over an imaginary beach ball on your lap. And take an inhale there, and then exhale, start to press the backs of the thighs into the floor. So those hamstrings give the abdominals and the spinal muscles assistance to bring yourself back upright. And exhale, nodding the chin, rounding over. And then exhale, pressing down. And again, nod the chin, take it up and over. And then press down through the backs of the thighs to spring it back up. Making sure that when you're taking it up and over, that the shoulders aren't pulling up to the ears. If anything, they just widen away from one another. And then rounding back up tall. Last one here, taking it up and over. And then exhale and lift. All right, so from here, I'm gonna turn to face you on these. You're gonna go ahead and take the legs together. And if this ends up being uncomfortable in the hips, always feel free to change your seated position to that. All right, so first off, we're gonna go ahead and just draw the arms out in front of you. And imagine you have a wall directly back behind you. And we're first just gonna go ahead and pull those elbows back into that wall and glide your shoulder blades towards one another. So you're nice and open through the chest. And then reach back forward. And again, we pull those elbows back into that imaginary wall. And then you come back forward. This time we're gonna draw back into that imaginary wall. And now this is your new start position. Now from here, you want to think of your elbows pendulating under and forward to take the fingertips to the ceiling. And so you're feeling that work right on the back of the shoulder blade there. And then we rotate back and the elbows pendulum forward to swing the fingertips to point to the ceiling. Couple more like that. Working on our mobility through the glenohumeral joint there. Let's do one more, and now this is our new starting position. Now from here, I want you to feel where your shoulder blades are at if you can. Imagine those shoulder blades like elevator doors. We're gonna close those elevator doors so the shoulder blades squeeze in, and then you're gonna spread them out nice and wide. And I'll turn around so you can see me here as you do this. You're gonna go ahead and squeeze them in, and then think of reaching to the elbows to draw them wide. And squeezing in, and take it wide. One more time like that, squeezing in. And then when they are wide, keep them wide, and then just rotate the palms to shine in towards your ears. Now from here, lift a little taller up through your spine, keeping this position through the arms. We're gonna go ahead and exhale, rotate to the right, and pulse, and center. And exhale, rotate, and pulse. Inhale, center. Exhale, rotate, and pulse. Inhale, center. Exhale, rotate, and pulse. See if you can keep your sit bones equally weighted into the floor and keep that sense of lift through the spine as if you're going up a spiral staircase instead of down one. Let the eyes follow the motion as the spine tends to follow where the eyes go. One more here, and back to center. From here, you can draw the arms on down. Now you're gonna go ahead and allow the legs to separate out, and so they are a bit wider than the hips and shoulders here. So first, just letting the hands come back behind you. You're gonna go ahead and take that left arm around and allow for this left hip to rotate in as you just reach. And then we're gonna come through center, and then you take it over to the other side. So just getting a nice little internal rotation stretch to the front of the hip there. And notice how there's that continuous line from the fingertips all the way down through the leg. If you feel like you want to add a little lift there, you can. It's not necessary. And then one more each way. And down. From here, keeping the legs wide, draw those arms back out to a T to prepare for saw. So again, we want to keep those sit bones rooted. You're going to go ahead and inhale, rotate to the right. Exhale, reach your left pinky for your right pinky toe. That back palm spins under as if it's pushing the ceiling away. Now you want to use the back side of your body as you reach back to those right fingertips to draw yourself upright. And then we unwind back to center. Inhale, rotate. Exhale and reach. Palm presses up. Reach back to lift up, and then unwind center. Inhale, rotate, and reach, back arm spirals, and lift, and center, and rotate, and reach, and lift, and come center. One more each way. And center. And again, reach there. Come up and center. And arms can come down. So from here, let's go ahead and we're gonna come up to a kneeling position from here. So if it's not comfortable on your knees to kneel, feel free to do this series from a standing position to a standing lunge. You can also draw a pillow underneath the knee and see if that helps, if there's any discomfort. So first off, we're gonna go ahead and take our left foot forward, and we're trying to align that ankle directly underneath the knee for balance sake. And then if it's comfortable on that right knee, flip those toes under. And that takes you into a little bit more of a quad stretch here. So with both hands on the knee, and if you're needing to have a little assistance balance, you can always take your hand onto a piece of furniture or wall. You're gonna lift up through the abdominals and pull your tail under. And now think of pushing down and back through that left knee. So you use the back of this right hip to start to stretch the front of the right hip open. Take an inhale there, and exhale, lift up through your center to come back upright. And again, pushing down and forward through that right knee, and take it back. And then again, and press. Good. So you're maintaining that sense of lift. We're not letting ourselves sink into a big stretch. We're only stretching as far as our muscles can support us. So this time we're gonna take it into that stretch. You're gonna take your hands onto that knee, and then I want you to think of rounding these low back ribs back and up the wall behind you. And so you may notice that that changes your stretch. Your pelvis should still be slightly curled under with the front of that right hip stretched open. Take a breath or two here. And then stacking up. And now from here, you're gonna take the left hand onto the inside of that left knee, pushing it against it. And you're gonna go ahead and take that right arm up. And you're just gonna take a little side stretch towards the left. Keep reaching down through that right knee. Take an inhale and exhale, stacking up tall. Let's go ahead and take it to the other side. So now you're gonna go ahead and take that right foot forward. And again, you're trying to get that ankle underneath the knee. From here, you're gonna go ahead and flip those toes under. And then reaching down through that left knee and up through the spine, we pull the tailbone under. Now from here, exhale, push down and back through that left knee to send both hips slightly forward. And then lifting up and out of that. And again, exhale to take you into the stretch. Pause for a breath or two. And each time you come out of it, it's if you're lifting up through your center to carry you out of it. One more time, we take it into the stretch. And then from here, you're gonna go ahead and push down and forward through the palms as we round through the mid-back. Making sure you're feeling that round come through those low back ribs instead of just letting the head drop. See if you can breathe back into those lower back ribs, into that kidney area. Couple more breaths here. One more inhale. And then stacking up. Now that right hand is gonna go to the inside of the right knee as we take our left arm up. And we're gonna go ahead and take a little side bend now to the right. Breathing open that left side. One more inhale and exhale, stack up. Coming onto both knees. From here, you're gonna go ahead and first just kind of gently pressing the palms back and allowing that collarbone to slightly lift. And then keep that sense of lift through the front of the chest as you just draw your arms out in front of you. Now, I'm going to recommend on the first couple that you curl your toes under so you have a little bit more protection for your knees here. We want to maintain this sense of alignment and lift through the spine as we inhale to tip back and exhale to come up. Inhale to take it back and exhale to come up. So that's feeling okay through the knees, and you can let those toes come back down to the floor. And again, we keep the angle of the front of the hips open as you inhale to take it back and exhale to come up. So you'll notice those quads working eccentrically, as well as the backs of the legs, backs of the hips, abdominals and spinal muscles working to keep everything stable. And lift. And taking it back. And lift. 2 more here. Last one. And lift. All right. So from here, we are going to go ahead and come on down to our bellies. So once down on your bellies, take one hand over the other, and you can take your forehead to your hands, and then just for a moment, just let your tail wag from side to side in case you got into your low back on that last exercise. So now from here, as your toes reach back towards the wall behind you, you're just going to float the nose slightly away from the mat and lengthen your arms down next to the sides of the body. Allow your shoulders to just fall forward towards the mat. So as you inhale, first we're going to move the collarbone away from the floor so your shoulder blades gather in towards the center. And then floating the hands up so you're supporting the weight of the arms now. And see if you can draw your breastbone forward and up as you continue to keep the front of your hips pressing into the floor and the very crest of your ribs, your bottom ribs, against the mat as well. And then exhale back to a floating nose, letting your shoulders fall forward. And so first the collarbone moves away from the floor, and then you float the weight of the arms up, and then we draw forward through the breastbone. And exhale and lower. Let's do 2 more like that. And so first collarbone moves away from the floor, then the arms float, and the breastbone draws forward and up. And then bringing it back down. Last one, shoulders, arms, and lift, and lower. So now we're gonna go ahead and take our right arm, bend that elbow, and turn your head towards that elbow so you're resting your left cheek on your right hand. So now from here, as we lift our chest, we're also going to lift our left leg at the same time. Keep the front of the hips equally pressed into the floor. So we're going to inhale and lift. Now paying close attention, you're going to continue to look this direction and keep that left leg lifted as you slide that right arm out long. Now we're going to swim the arms out to a T all the way over to the other side. And then we turn our head the other direction. We bend the elbow and set it down. Now the right leg lifts as we look left and come up. And then we slide that arm around and switch. And if you're getting mixed up, just making sure you're lifting opposite arm to opposite leg. And we lift, lengthen, switch, and down. Think of it as a brain exercise. And we lift, lengthen, around, and down. Left leg lifts, right arm lengthens, we swim around, we bend that left elbow, look to the left, and come down. This time the right leg will lift, we're looking to the left, left arm lengthens, we slide around to the T, right arm glides forward, right elbow bends, we look to the right, and come down. All right, so from here, let's go ahead and bring our elbows nice and close and by the sides. Low belly is lifting. You're gonna go ahead and brush that nose forward. As the chest lifts, feel as if your shoulder blades are sliding down the back ribs. A little press to the palms to feel those triceps and the elbows are floating as we come up. And then imagine you're ironing yourself out longer as you lower back down with control. And again, inhale, nose brushes forward. And lifting up. And exhale, getting longer as we lower back down. And let's go ahead and do one more here. and lift and lengthen and lower. All right, so now from here, we're gonna come on to our forearms. So our elbows are just a little bit forward of our shoulders. Make little fists and try to have those forearms running parallel to one another. We're gonna be taking it into an 8-point plank. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna curl those toes under. And then first off, kind of right at the base of the neck where you have that very prominent bone there, you're gonna think of that drawing up to the ceiling first and snaking through the spine, feeling each vertebra after that come up as well. And as we roll our hips up off the floor and bring our spine so it's level to the mat. And so from here, you should definitely feel a lot of core work. Make sure you're lifting the abdominal wall up towards the spine. You're pushing down and forward through those elbows so those shoulder blades are wide. The back of the neck is long. Now imagine trying to pull your inner thighs towards one another. And then trying to pull your elbows a little bit towards one another. Now think of trying to pull your elbows and your knees towards each other. Take an inhale. Exhale, start to let the hips come forward. Let the chest come forward and up. And again, exhale, we start at the base of the neck, rolling through. Hips roll up, we come up so our spines are level. Abdominals are lifting here, pushing down and forward through the elbows. And again, finding that extra core effort of trying to pull the elbows and knees towards one another. And then again, the hips open, the chest comes through, and our gaze comes forward. This next one, we'll take it back to that 8-point plank. So we start at the base of the neck, rolling through, find that 8-point plank. Now from here, if you choose to, make sure those toes are underneath you, you're gonna go ahead and float the knees up. Now you've got your forearm plank, abdominals continue to lift. Make sure the back of the neck is still long. Pushing down and forward through those elbows. Take a couple more deep breaths here. One more inhale and exhale, let the knees come down. And then go ahead and walk yourself back to a child pose. Feeling how those ribs are expanding nice and easy now on your inhale. And exhaling it out. One more time, take your inhale. And exhale. All right, let's go ahead and come to a sideline position. So from here, we are first gonna go ahead and start with both of our legs bent at 90 at the hips and 90 at the knees. Now it's up to you. You can have both arms out in front of you with your head just resting on the floor. If that's not comfortable on your neck, you can slide that bottom arm up and rest your ear on it there. So first we're just gonna do a nice chest opener and spine rotation. So as you keep the legs stacked, first you're just gonna go ahead and reach forward through that top arms as your ribcage starts to rotate forward towards the floor. And then we're gonna slide that arm overhead and you're kind of keeping track of those fingertips with your eyes as the arm circles around into a nice chest opener. And then you're gonna go ahead and continue to circle it around towards the hip and back. And we'll go 2 more in this direction, letting the thoracic follow the arm. Last one. And then let's do a couple in the other direction. Taking it out, getting that nice pec stretch, and then a nice lat stretch. And around. Good. So from here, you're gonna slide your legs out nice and long so they're back in line with the spine. You're gonna take that bottom arm underneath you for your ear to rest on. So scoot nice and forward to the very front edge of your mat because we are gonna be doing a little rolling back there. So first you're gonna go ahead and on your exhale, you wanna think of trying to use your waistline on the top side to help float the legs up and also that bottom inner thigh pushing up against the top leg. Now from here, a little pressure down through the palm that's in front of you to bring the head up a little bit as well. And then we take it all back down. And then again, exhale and we lift and inhale to lower. And exhale and lift. And inhaling down. And this time you're gonna go ahead and lift. So now from here, you're gonna start to tip back onto that right hip. And as you do so, you're gonna start to bend the knees in, coming up to your balance point. Take that arm forward. If you would like to, you can go into a full teaser here by straightening the legs. And then we bend. And now we wanna go back to our sideline position in the similar sequence. We start to roll onto the hip as our legs start to lengthen, and we come back onto our side. And so first we're gonna go ahead and float the legs, and then the upper body comes up. We start to tip back onto that right hip. We scoop to the low belly. We use the assistance of the arm there, and then the arm comes forward. You can use the hands behind the thighs if you need to. See if you can pull those kneecaps up the thighs to straighten the legs. And then from here, as you roll back, we draw back onto the floor. You got one more like that. We're gonna go ahead and lift up, scoop, rolling onto that hip. Now you're on both hips here if you didn't know already. And then we bend, start to roll back, start to roll towards your side, and coming down. Good. Inch back so you're on the center of the mat. And then let's go ahead and come on up to our forearm here. Now, if this ends up not being comfortable in your shoulder, you can always continue to keep the arm long. So we're gonna bend both legs and have the heels pretty much in line with your tail. So first, to find the right position through our trunk, you're gonna take your top hand up right below your armpit into these upper ribs. And you're gonna go ahead and move those upper ribs up into that hand. And so notice how the waistline lengthens. And then you're gonna let it come back down. So this is what we don't want. And then you're gonna lift those ribs up into this top hand. And so we find this nice long diagonal. So we're gonna try and keep this long diagonal out through the crown of the head. And imagine your core drawing up and in and supporting the weight of the head here. Now from here, we're gonna go ahead and try and keep our hips stacked. As we exhale, rotate the top knee up and inhale down and lift. Good. You've definitely got some oblique work happening, a little bit of lat there, pushing away. Deltoid. Couple more. So now you're going to keep this alignment through your trunk, but just slide your top leg long so it's back in line with your spine. Now try and keep the space between your ribs and your pelvis as we take the leg up and down. Now it's tempting for when the leg to go up to let this to sink down, but work, work, work to keep that lift. Couple more. This time you're going to go ahead and lift the leg. And now we're going to go ahead and flex, take it forward, and point, reach it back. And flex, take it forward, and point, reach it back. Couple more there. And last one. And then take that top leg right on top of your bottom leg. Grab hold of that shin, draw yourself up. Take that arm up towards the ceiling, a little side bend over. Nice inhale there, and then exhale, stacking up. So we're gonna go ahead and take it to the other side. So again, on this first part, we wanna make sure we're really far forward on the mat. So when we start to roll into our balance points, there's a mat behind you. So actually first we gotta do our pinwheel. Sorry, knees bent, 90 at the hips, 90 at the knees. And we're gonna go ahead and reach that top arm forward, rotating and then circling around. And we take it forward. And we let the gaze follow the fingertips around. One more time in this direction. And then you're gonna reverse. And around. So now from here, lengthen those legs out nice and long. Bottom arm lengthens out in line with the spine as well. We're gonna go ahead and exhale, use the waistline to float the legs up. Feel that bottom inner thigh pushing up against the top leg, and then start to float the upper body up a little. And then we lower down. And again, exhale and lift. And inhale to lower. 2 more times like this, lift. And then lower. This time we're gonna go ahead and lift. Now you're gonna start to roll back onto that left hip, scoop through the low belly, slide along the floor with that left hand, take that left arm forward, see if you can lengthen through the legs, knees bend. As we start to roll down, we're also starting to rotating onto our side at the same time. And again, we float it up, we rotate onto that hip, scoop, arm comes forward, lengthen, bend, rolling it back, and onto our sides. You have one more, floating up. I'm worried I'm on the mic here. And then onto that hip, scoop through the low belly, bring it forward, lengthen through the legs, bend, rolling back, and onto the side. From here, we're gonna go ahead and come onto the forearm. And so you're gonna bend both knees so the heels are in line with the tail, and then take your top hand up by the armpit. You're gonna go ahead and bring those ribs up into the hands so we find that length. And you're picturing that long diagonal as if your core is supporting the weight of the head here. We're gonna exhale, rotate that top knee up, and inhale to lower. And exhale and lift, and inhale down. Trying to keep the pelvis in place as you rotate the thigh in the socket. Couple more here. Now from here, lengthening out long through that top leg, we're gonna go ahead and take it up and lower down. And again, we're trying to keep that lift. Couple more, you guys. This time we're lift, and we're gonna go ahead and flex the foot as the leg swings forward, and inhale to reach it back. Exhale to take it forward, and point and reach. Exhale, and inhale. 2 more here. Continuing to keep that lift through the center. This time I'll take it forward and back. Place that knee right on top of the other one. Go ahead and draw yourself upright, grabbing the shin. Take that opposite arm up and side bend over. Let's take an inhale there. Exhale, stack up nice and tall. From here, we're gonna come forward onto all fours. Toes curl under, and go ahead and just allow yourself to come back into a crouched position for a moment. And focus on that breath around the legs. So you're feeling the space between the ribs as you inhale. And exhale, letting the breath go. Take one more inhale. And exhale. This time as you inhale, let's lengthen up through the legs, allowing the spine to hang from the pelvis. You can keep a little knee bend if that's more comfortable for you. And just gently nod the head yes. And then shake it no. And then let's go ahead and take an inhale. Exhale, lift through the low belly, curl the tail under, and start to roll on up through the spine, bone by bone, and the head will be the very, very, very last thing to arrive. Then from here, let's go ahead and just inhale, slide the shoulders up to the ears, and exhale, just let them glide down. One more time, keeping the long back of the neck, and exhale, and let them glide down. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions at the end, I'll open the chat box back up. Oh, thank you, Monica. Thanks, Katie. Thank you, Sandra. It was good to see everybody, so to speak.